everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. Do a bit of a Saturday update here. It is just shy of lunchtime and I feel like I've already put in a full day. I think I started working on shipping 6:30, 6, I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, feeling it. It was a long week. Today, I think I'm going to dig into, well, I dug into them last night. We got a C72 and a C5. These were just too nice to let go away. In the last 2 months, I have probably brought home, at least 40 saws from Jim's various storage areas. And we're pretty close to done, I think. Jim Jr. and I went through the storage unit that had a lot of bars. Oh, the big cardboard boxes that sit on pallets full of old carcass saws. And that's where an awful lot of what I'm going to be working on the next, probably several months still. A lot of where that came from. And there was stuff that I let go that if I had unlimited room and I felt like making a junkyard, I'd get to it eventually. But a wise person once said, probably a lot of wise persons once said, you can't save every saw. So, whatever. What I've got here will be more than enough to keep us occupied here on the channel for quite some time. Now, with that in mind, whatever I film this weekend and get kind of queued up for next week is probably going to have to do it for a little bit. We're going to head out and go camping at the tail end of next week, so I can't... Yeah, what I don't get done in the shop today and filmed, I'm having a hard time visualizing a whole much else going up. Just been busy. Really stinking busy. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So we're not going anywhere far away. We're just going to be heading up to a little Josephine County Park between Merlin and Grants Pass. It's actually hilarious. Ironic would maybe be a better word. One of the guys who sent in a bucking spike for one of these Mac 1010s had said, "Hey, if you make it in Grants Pass, I'm in Grants Pass," and I wasn't even thinking when I said, I appreciate it, just ship it. I don't make it up there all that often, which is absolutely true. But like a complete dipstick, I was forgetting that we were going to camp up there for a few days. So, whatever. Right on the Rogue River. That thing's going to be running high. I've already warned the kids, don't get anywhere near it. I will warn them 47 more times. All the rain that we've had, my goodness, these rivers have plenty of water in them. These reservoirs are going to have more than plenty of water. I think it's been quite a few years before since the various water management folks have had to release a bunch of water for spring melt, but I'm pretty sure this year will be one of them. So, let's see, what else we got going on? I'm really jonesing to get up on the firewood hill, but it is just so stinking sopping wet still that I don't enjoy playing in the mud, and I am virtually certain I could get across that creek and get over there just fine and even get back out, but everything would be a giant, muddy, stinking mess. I'd rather we get into a couple weeks of real spring, let it dry out just a bit. Did some reorganizing here in the shop, made it to the dump, got rid of my tub of carcass parts that I've been collecting back here, so I'm not tripping over that at the moment. That's kind of nice. I had room to hang one more 2x4 up in the attic, way on the other side. You guys, when I've done these various videos, have laughed. A few guys have commented, how the hell is that roof still standing? Well, number one, the garage, for the most part, the actual roof trusses, a lot of those are 2x6s. They're old growth fir. This was built in 1965, so this isn't the Home Depot twisty stuff I'll use the word stuff that you see houses being built out of today. This is all tight grain fir, at least an awful lot of it is, and they're not engineered trusses. They're site built by a guy who knew what the heck he was doing. I mentioned him in a previous video. My old neighbor Red, he had been here since the neighborhood was put in. His house was one of the first that was built, so he watched all these things go up, and he knew the builder that was doing the work. And he said that guy was so detail-oriented, anal retentive, however you want to put it, that if a guy even left a 2x4 scrap laying around the work site at the end of the day, he didn't do that very many times before his butt was packing on down the road. So anyway, I hung one more up there and was able to get a few more saws put away. I think I made space for most of my daily drivers, so to speak, when I am cutting firewood, that I can get to those. But man, I'm out of space. I don't have a lot of room for more stuff in the collection. It's going to have to be some pretty special saws, or I'm going to have to rent a storage unit somewhere, and that almost feels like the point where you have to admit, do you have a problem? We knew I had problems a long time ago, just haven't had to admit it. So there's that. The XL870 is still sitting here waiting. Like I say, I've got two different options on the way in the mail. I was really, really hoping that one of them would get here today. But as usual, the initial estimate from USPS was, well, not accurate. What are you going to do? So it'll be waiting. That's probably going to be several weeks out. Like I say, it's going to be after camping. It's certainly not going to be before that. The C72 that I got chucked up here in the saw vise precariously, but it's in there. I may have worked on this before. I honestly don't know, but when the video for when I film that, I'm going to include some of my cleanup techniques. Again, degreasing and hosing off, there's no special to that, but this saw has a lot, and I mean a lot, of sappy sawdust on it. So I'm going to demonstrate a few of the techniques I use to try and clean them up as best I can. I am not perfect on these. There are guys who would spend 3 times as much time as I do, and I don't spend a small amount of time, but you know what I mean. I get them clean enough that I think they're not going to gum up again if a person chooses to use them on a regular basis. But the paint on the 72 is pretty good for a, hell are we on, 50-year-old saw, give or take. The C5, is in immaculate shape. The decals are worn, and the white is worn off of the air filter cover, but still. As far as I know, they both have spark. I know the C72 does, and how I didn't get water in the points box while I was cleaning it, I don't know, but every once in a while you get lucky. So we'll work on those, get those going. Yeah, I think that may be about it for our Saturday update. So like I say, I'll get as much good content queued up. That's one thing I've noticed some channels that I follow, instead of going dark, it's just throw something out. And I guess in a weird sort of way, I guess that's what these Saturday updates are. But more than that, I just want you guys to know what's going on, and I try to use them as a way of saying, hey, content may be a little bit light, just so that folks know. But I don't ever want to start throwing videos up just for the sake of throwing them on, because they got to be worth something. It's not just, I don't view this channel as necessarily an entertainment channel. Certainly things are entertaining, like when I throw a fit because something doesn't go right, but that's kind of a side effect of what we're doing. I always envisioned this being more of a resource for folks that are trying to fix their equipment, so I'm going to try and stick with that. Oh, one final thing. I did finally the way the timing all worked out, it took a while to get the first payment from YouTube, Google AdSense, whatever the hell you want to call it. Was actually better than I was expecting, so I'm researching, thinking ahead to the Firewood Hill, the remote microphone options. None of my cameras that I am aware of, in fact I'm certain of it, none of them have a remote mic input jack, so I'm going to have to screw around with doing an actual recorder system, you know, with the mic and then the receiver basically in your pocket, which is, I guess, a giant battery-powered thumb drive, and then sync all the audio up. I've gotten better at that than I'd like to, using audio from two cameras, when I have two cameras filming the same thing from different angles. I try to sync the audio up so that, well, for one, if I cut from one to the other, it's right, and yeah, you can go back and forth between there and use one audio or another. I guess in a weird way, what I'm looking at is a Rode, Micro 2, I don't know. The Wilson Forestlands, actually, he lists that as his, he has a list of equipment in his videos that he uses, and I've been thoroughly impressed with what he's been able to do using that microphone setup, so I may just give that a try. I had said that was my intention with YouTube ad revenue, was to do things to support the channel and make it better. And I think that, especially when I'm up there cutting, would definitely make it better. So, yeah, there we go. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. We'll catch you on the next video.